Hey everybody, welcome to Timer Tip Tuesday. I'm the backup Matt. You're probably used to primary Matt Avery, or today, since I'm presenting a webinar, you can call me the announcer Matt. But this is RunSignup's website builder for timers. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. So we're going to talk about offering websites as a service for your customers, as well as get into some template options. We're going to talk about branding and color schemes for your race director and their events, along with setting up the different components, especially the event tiles and various website components. We'll also get into some graphics and content placement, as well as recommended best practices, and along with advanced tips and tricks. So let's get started with websites as a service. So for timers, why should you get race directors to use the RunSignup website? This can be part of your already included timer fees that you're offering, or you can offer this as a standalone service. So the RunSignup website is free. It's automatically marketing for the race 24/7. By you updating the content on the race, that can cut down on support questions that the race director has to ask, and in turn, support questions that you need to help the race director ask as well. So using the data-driven components is less human error, it's time saved for all parties involved. And oftentimes the RunSignup website is the very first impression because people are sharing their page, they're sharing their fundraiser page, they're trying to recruit friends and family, and on a Google search, RunSignup ranks right there at the top, even with somebody's branded domain. So you can do this as part of your additional fees that you already offer, or you can do this as a standalone service. And you can even kind of use this as, think of like a contractor yard sign that you might be driving past in the neighborhood. So you can brand your timing brand with these websites as well. So making the website work for you 24/7, this is where any possible question that could be asked needs to be added on the website. So packet pickup information, directions, the athlete guide, any type of FAQ. Ask your race director, what are the 3 most questions that you got last year, and make sure they're on there. And then anytime you get a support question, throw that on the FAQ page as well. Not everybody will self-serve, but at least having the information there is going to help build the website and have people find that information that they're needing. So you can add different snippets on the content page as highlights. So you need to showcase why somebody should come to your race, and you can highlight it because we all know participants don't read, and you just want to kind of give them, like, dangle the carrot. And if somebody wants to learn more, then they can click and drive into more content. So a quick intro into the website builder is everything is now all in one spot. So that's currently under the race tab under website v2 and website builder. The templates that we're going to have are going to be offered slowly over time, and that's going to be part of the race wizard when people are creating steps. And then the website settings page, that's where you kind of make everything go live after you've been poking around playing with the website. So it's now a full screen layout. No longer are 6 different pages in the website to do one single content section. You have everything in one place. So the sidebar on the right-hand side, that is the main options for your themes. That's covering your page banners, your homepage banners, and it's also setting up your navigation menu. And think of the navigation menu as the foundation of the website, so that way people can then drill into the content. When you click on one of the sidebar navigation pages, that's going to bring up the content area on the left-hand side, and that's where you can add different sections and components to kind of build out what the page looks like. So we'll kind of get into templates, and again, you want something that's simple but effective, so that way people can easily find and digest information, and you want to be able to build it in a self-serve way. So starting with the templates and system pages, again, going to that navigation menu, make sure your drop-downs include the core pieces of the race. Donations, different system pages that we have, such as results components, photos components, things like that. You can build out the structure of your website, and that gets the navigation menu to align to have participants and potential participants find all the information they need on the website. So again, having race information with a drop-down of everything about the race, packet pickup, directions, parking, the course map, and as well as a navigation menu for FAQ. That's something that you definitely want to have when you build the core structure of your navigation menu. So we'll kind of look at some sample templates that we built out to kind of show you this is the content section of a page. And so when you set up the content area, you can add multiple sections, and the sections can either have 1 column or 2 column. In this one, we're just showcasing a very simple race. You start with event tiles after your homepage banner, and then you quickly add a nice little divider for some visual appeal. You get into the race description with a countdown clock to race day or registration opening, whatever you want to do. You can also do a custom date, along with a 2-column section with the race location and directions. That makes things easy to find, and then you follow up with a contact us page. And this can all be branded to the color schemes of the logo and the race. So this one is a big favorite for timers, would be a donation focused template. How do you help your race directors that are focused on raising money for their nonprofit? How do you help accentuate all the features of RunSignup? And this is a donation focused template where, again, we started out with the event tiles and the race description, but adding that donation thermometer, adding the top fundraisers components, and then you can even do kind of like some 2-column approaches. And this gets back into the highlights, like what is their cause? Here's a video that they've come up with. So ask your race directors, do they have, social media content? Do they have videos talking about their cause? And then just put that front and center on the website. And then we follow it by a slideshow of maybe what they're doing, what they're raising money for in the community, and then various sponsors. So very simple donation-focused template. And then we also have a runner-focused template. Again, this is for trying to grow the race for participants. So that's probably highlighting more team affiliates or doing some type of referral reward program. We have a swag section here that's just highlighting like what they get to run. So you can do, the same thing, event tiles, dividers, description, and then just kind of mixing and matching where you place this. And this one also has the Strava component with the map, which is also interactive. So highlighting that, whether it's on the main info page or just putting it in a separate section, those are awesome to do. And then this kind of also gets into that contractor yard sign where you have like a little 2-column section where you have text about what they get as a participant. You get professional chip timing services, you get video finish, you get photos from your finish, and you also get text and email notifications and all of the different types of stuff you're doing, like Race Joy, whatever. So that's kind of like the contractor yard sign, and you can promote your brand. So as participants see it and they kind of know your timing services in the area, they'll know what type of experience they get for the results. So that's also a good approach as well. So let's get a bit into the branding and color schemes. This is going to start with the race logo. And so this is something that the race would have. We generally recommend using an evergreen logo. And what I mean by evergreen is that's not something that has the date or the year on it, because lots of websites cache old information and images, so stuff gets loaded quickly on mobile and just year over year. And so if you have an evergreen logo where it's just the logo of the race name, that is going to work better for the branding and then renewing the race year over year. We also have a favicon option, so that's like changing the little icon in the address bar of the browser just as like a nice touch, and then pulling those colors out of the logo and using those colors on the website can really make the race website pop. We also have some different banner options on the website builder. You have the homepage banner, which is a unique banner just on the landing page. And then we also have page banners. So you can set a separate banner that's going to appear on all the other pages as like a nice little additional option. And both of these banners have different options where you can show it as a stacked width. That just appears under the navigation menu. The full screen kind of blends the photo behind the navigation menu, which we'll show some examples of that as well. Or you can disable the banner altogether. I've seen some race websites that don't have a banner and they just promote like the events front and center, or they're doing a standalone race for some other purposes. The page banner options are also nice to further brand whether the name of the race, the location of the race, or directions, the city and stuff like that, with other customizable text features. And you can hide and disable all these depending on what you want to do. So definitely play around with the varying banner options. So event tiles and website components, these are the data-driven components that actually build the website. So we've talked about the structure, the outlining of the navigation menu and kind of doing sections. All the different components that you can add is basically what makes the secret sauce work for the websites. So we have custom components where you are basically filling in the form, the contact form, texts, buttons, images, video. You're filling in that information. We even have the Strava component, so you're filling in the Strava segment information. And then we have the dynamic components, which is the automation data-driven stuff. So countdown to race day, the race description that's automatically pulling from the wizard, the map, which is again pulling from the directions that you have in the race wizard. All the different top fundraiser components, leaderboards, sponsors, all that type of stuff is automatically pulling from what you've added to the website automatically. And then we have the varying section options where you can mix and match, one column or two column. And then we can also kind of stretch the components into a full width or kind of the middle of the page, which would be the default width. So here's an example race website that I mentioned. This is the full height menu. So you'll see that's the homepage banner that has the navigation menu because the banner image kind of stretches all the way to the top of the page underneath the cover page options. You can also do the stacked option, which would be underneath the call to action buttons, varying different options that you have. The event display toggle, in order to get that background color to kind of go full width, using that section in full width mode. If it was just on the default width, then that light tan behind it would also stop halfway. So that's a nice little option to, again, use the coloring schemes of the website to make a nice landing page. Different sections that you can add. You can rotate between full width and restricted width, and then using the different border options, which we'll show a little bit later as well. So this is using the event tiles right underneath the banner that gets people to register quickly, and then as they scroll, you got more information. So there's more components to come. We actually just yesterday released the top teams component. So this is perfect for trying to grow races, getting people to join teams, giving a competition. Hey, if you have 20 people on a team, you all get racing socks, or you can, do some sort of discount for teams that have a certain number of people on the teams. We'll be introducing components all over, a PDF component, header sliders. I think the initial build of this had over 100 different components. So if there's something you're looking for, we probably already have it logged, but definitely let us know what type of components that you would like for the website so we can build those for you. So graphics and content placement. Graphics is marketing. Like, think of the website as marketing for your race. Again, it's marketing 24/7 because it's got all this information. So you need to accentuate and show people like the awesome time that they're going to have by registering for these races. So use photography. Get these photos from your race directors. They probably have access, or they know certain photos that they really want to show on their website. Or if they already have an existing website, pull those from it. You can create a collage and put them all together like is shown here for the race banner. It's just a collage. Or if they don't really have photography and you're helping with shirts and medals and stuff like that, do these type of like B-roll footage where, hey, there's a table at the end of the finish line, the finish chute, that has all the finisher medals. Take a nice little, picture of that, and that shows what people get for coming up to the race. We even have the event tiles components. You can update the event display options to show images behind that. You can also do colors to kind of alternate colors, especially for like a 4th of July race or like a Halloween, typical green and red for Christmas stuff. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with the color scheme in addition to photography for the website. So varying different options that you can add photos, the image component, the slideshow component. Obviously we have the banners, and then we even have the photos system page options as well. So when you add the content to the website, you're adding them in different sections. You can then click and drag and drop different sections to make things like maybe before registration opens, you have stuff that's higher up on the page. And then as registration's going or after the race is over, you want to move stuff up. Adding them as different sections allows you to just click and drag and pull things around. And there's different options in here. We'll talk about the section URL a little bit later. And this is where you can update the full width so it stretches along the page depending on how wide somebody's browser view is, whether it's on mobile or whether it's on desktop. and different kind of padding and rounding quarter options to just give a nice little visual appeal to stuff. And then all of these sections can have a background, whether it's an image or it's a color, and you can alternate between both of those. So here's a couple more content examples. This is highlighting the charity partner. So they're kind of using this is a single section option where they're kind of embedded an image and they're aligning it to the left side with the text on there. You can do this with a 2-column approach or a single, depending on how you want to do it. And they're highlighting the charity partner, which is then followed right up with the donation. So you know what the charity partner is, what their mantra is, what their mission statement is, and then how much they've raised based on their goal with a clear call to action. So this is really great to do. It's a little hard to see since the black background, but they've also done a nice light red border that again goes along with the color scheme of the charity, which is just a red and white logo, but it makes it look nice and pop right on their page. So here's some more content examples. We'll start in the kind of the top middle. These are the cards component. Think of these just like as the highlights of what they're offering. So this is another way to show that, oh, you can click here to volunteer. You can click here to learn about sponsorship. Here's our referral program. Or if you have questions, click here and it'll take you to our FAQ page or to ask us. At the bottom of that, you can again alternate content, put a quote of somebody on the race, interview the winner of the race, interview the charity of the race. Why should somebody come to do this race? And then you can also, again, do the highlights of here's where you volunteer with a separate call to action button. On the right-hand side, we have content that's kind of spaced apart. You still have the call to action buttons at the top, a call to action button for registering as a club, inviting your entire team to show up, along with different countdown options. So let's get into some recommended best practices that every race website should have. As a timer, the course is very important to you. So taking the course map and just uploading it to Strava is a great thing to do. The Strava component is really awesome. There's a little option where it kind of shows a bird's eye view, which we'll show a little bit later, which is super cool. The athlete guide, race day information, it needs to be on the website because you're probably going to go ahead and schedule that email in our email builder to link to the athlete guide, the 2 days before the race, so everybody knows what to do, because obviously they don't read, so you need to have that information in multiple places. The FAQ page, letting people know what to expect. Most races deal with donations, most races need volunteers, and most races need sponsors. So that's stuff that needs to be highlighted and showcased on the race website. It's easy content to build, especially when you just kind of, have fun color schemes to go along with it. Talking with your race directors, what is the social media for their race? You need to link to their Instagram, whatever they're actually on for socials, whether it's just on LinkedIn, whether it's just on YouTube, or it's just on their website. We have all the social media links that needs to be on there. And then contact forms, where to contact, who to contact if they want to volunteer, if they want to be a sponsor, or just if they have questions about the race. So this is the Strava component that I talked about, which everybody should add. It displays the interactive Strava route, which you'll see here that it's kind of going in a bird's eye view. And then there's buttons that people can send it right to their device, or they can just view it on Strava. So it's really cool, and you can even link to a Strava club that's in there. So it's a pretty neat option when you're building out what does the course look like, because everybody needs to know to run the course. So getting social, this is adding all of the socials, whether you want to, encourage a hashtag. We have a social component, and you can add specific automated logos from the social media depending on what the race actually uses, whether they use Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or whatever other site. We have a custom link there as well. So it's a really nice thing to add, and every race should have how people can follow them on social media. Contact forms, these can all be added because each content block can be added to multiple places. And so add one for questions about the race. Who should that go to? You can make it go to that specific email. If there's a sponsorship, maybe your race director that you're working with doesn't wear the sponsorship hat, maybe somebody else does, or maybe they've hired a special volunteer coordinator. So you can already segment out who should get that question to be able to better answer, whoever's reaching out. And each component goes to a different contact. You can put different components on different pages of the website. So let's get into a little bit other advanced tips and tricks just to kind of make your website pop a little bit. Dividers are a great visual cue just to add a little bit more appeal to the website. In this example, it's basically just the countdown clock, but we've put the dividers on both sides, which again, using the color scheme of the race is just a nice way to call out the countdown clock there. We'll get into section URLs, layouts, and domains. So the section URLs can be great because it works as like an anchor link, or think about jumping down to specific content in a page. This can be used for an FAQ page or sponsorship opportunity page. So if you have like a document or an email that you're sending out to potential sponsors, you can jump them right to the different areas of the page. Instead of just sending them a page with long content, you can say, hey, here's last year's demographics, and they click that link and it jumps them right down to here. And so in this example, they're using the cards component, and then they're using a section URL to jump them to that specific part of the page, and you can jump them to the different sponsorship levels. So this can be used in a variety of ways to link people. Think about highlighting certain things on your info page with a button that clicks them to it. You can then click them to a section URL, which automatically jumps them down the page. And the layout options. This is a nice subtle cue to just make the different areas stand out. So we have different padding options, which kind of moves the text inside the different content blocks. Rounding the corners is a nice little thing. It just adds a little softer look to it. And then you can add a border around sections. So you can play with this with the full length as well as the default length, just to kind of break up the sections a little bit so it's easier to read a little bit and move on to the next section. BYO domain. So this is something that to maintain their legacy website, they can keep that domain. They don't have to use the runsignup.com domain if they have it. SSL is automatically included. This is something that the race director would probably purchase on their own, but you can help them get it set up, or just help them to know about it. If they do not have a domain for their 5K, they could have charityrun5k.org if they wanted to. But if they already have their nonprofit website, they don't necessarily have to create a separate domain, and they don't want to transfer their domain to RunSignup, but they could set up a subdomain. So it could be like, the funrun5k.mycharitypartner.org as a subdomain. And that keeps all the information in one place. So that way they're not having to update multiple websites. And then once you're reviewing for a race website, the number one thing you want people to do for the race is to register. And so you want to make sure that there's multiple ways of doing this and that it's easy to find. And so make sure everything on the page is updated to the current year to reflect any type of new sponsorships and any type of new changes that may have happened since last year. So you want to just talk and discuss with your race directors, like how long does it take to someone to find the sign up button? How long does it take somebody to go through the registration path? Make sure the dates and times and everything is up to date. And what services are you offering, right? Are you offering participant tracking? Are you offering photos? Are you offering a training program? Like, highlight that information of what people get along with their registration, so that content is on there and that they can find that after they've registered as well. So using the event tiles, that clearly promotes pricing, and it automatically updates for the next pricing increase. And that's where you can use the website to kind of market for you in those cases. And so when you start tying it all together, creating a standout website is not all about aesthetics and the photos, but it's about making a memorable first impression that's going to drive people to register for the race or come back to the race website to get more information. So by focusing on clarity, cohesive colors, visual variety, and you can set the stage for success for your race director's website and for their race day experience. So get in there and create something awesome. So we do have more learning that we didn't cover today. There's a case study that we have that was from RunSignup University. So there's an independent case study to kind of go along and play around with the website builder to get more used to all the different features and the areas of where you click and make stuff happen. I've done an organizational websites webinar, which is basically your timer website. You could use that for event display lists for results display, or potentially as your own timer website. And then we also have a blog about how to build professional websites with a little bit more in-depth options that you can use to share with race directors. So even if this isn't included in one of your services, or this isn't an add-on that the race director chooses to go through you to set up, you can still showcase them the importance of it and then let them self-serve, and you can share that blog for it. And then there's always more training at RunSignup. And if you aren't RunSignup certified as a timer program, you can also do RunSignup timer certification. And so I know a lot of the stuff is going to come out. This was recorded, and you'll get the PDF, of all the templates afterwards. And everything goes on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/RunSignup. There's also the Timer Tip Tuesday playlist. But were there any questions that anybody had as we covered the content today?
I'll give everybody a minute to put any questions in the question panel in GoToWebinar. If you click on your GoToWebinar panel and then click on questions, you can enter one there and read them out.
Yeah, and as always, if there's stuff that comes up, after the webinar or things that you didn't want to ask, feel free to reach out to us and we can take a look at any specific use cases for you guys.
Yeah, I don't see any questions coming in, so I think we're good. You did a great job, Matt.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing some awesome websites from you guys. Feel free to share them with us, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great Tuesday.